Welcome back to the Britannia Coin Company. We're a coin dealer based in Royal Wootton Bassett in the UK. In our previous video we looked at some of the rarest 50p coins that you might come across in your change, specifically ones that were not intended for circulation or NIFC coins. Today's video we're doing the same but with the £2 coin this time. So if you come across any of these £2 coins, they're probably the rarest coins that you could find, specifically because they're not supposed to be in our change. We start in 2017 with the World War One Aviation £2 coin. This coin was the third successive £2 coin to mark one of the branches of the armed forces in conflict, 100 years ago during the First World War. This was the first not to be circulated though. In 2016 the Army and in 2015 the Navy had their own coins which did enter circulation. The same year we had the Jane Austen £2 coin. It was minted to mark the 200th anniversary of the famed writer's death. Now there were some which were circulated in my hometown of Basingstoke. Well, kind of. A number were handed out to the public, being that it was her hometown, but nowhere near as many as would have been produced previously for an actual circulating coin. In 2018, the bicentenary of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was marked with the release of this coin, with the word Frankenstein across the face of the coin, stylized to look like electricity, which was used to bring the monster to life. The coin was also a strike your own at the Royal Mint experience around Halloween the same year, but again sadly did not go into circulation to be found in our change. 2018 also saw the start of a 3-coin set which was then released one a year. This was to mark Captain Cook's voyage of discovery 250 years before. The 3 coins come together to make a design, but interestingly, with the brilliant uncirculated or BU coins, they were produced in Royal Mint packaging so that you could place all 3 into a triangle. But when the 3rd coin was released, the coin was put into the wrong slots for those sent out first. The Royal Mint did realise this and corrected their mistake, and they did in fact send out replacements correcting this error to those of us that received the wrong packaging. We return to the First World War with another coin, this time to mark the centenary of the armistice. It features a quote from Wilfred Owen's poem, Strange Meeting, one of his most complex and haunting war poems. The poet would be killed in action on the 4th of November 1918, a week before the armistice and the end of the war. 2018 also saw a 5-coin set of £2 coins to mark the centenary of the Royal Air Force or RAF, which was founded at the end of the First World War. Aerial warfare did take place before the RAF's founding, but would be subsidiaries of the Army and Navy until the creation of this new branch of the armed forces. It includes a Vulcan bomber, Spitfires, a Sea King helicopter, Lightning II, and the crest of the RAF. A real shame that these didn't circulate, as it was and remains a really popular set of coins. 2019 marked the 75th anniversary of the Normandy invasions, also referred to as DDay, with a design that shows the plan of attack and the names of each beaches on the arrows. This was the largest seaborne invasion in history and one of the key pivotal moments of the Second World War. It had previously been commemorated on a 50p coin back in 1994, which was then reissued in 2019's 50 year of the 50p military set. Wedgwood was also commemorated on a £2 coin in 2019. The English fine china and porcelain manufacturer had been founded 260 years before, and the coin features a vase designed by them. Although over the years the company merged with another and came under the ownership of other companies, the brand still creates goods and the brand name has stood the test of time. We have another writer in 2019, this time Samuel Peeps, the diarist who chronicled his life from 1660 to 1669, and it's one of the primary sources of information for this time period. It contains accounts of key historical events, including the Great Plague of London and the Great Fire of London. The diary was kept in his own shorthand and was laboriously transcribed between 1819 and 1822, before the realization that the key to his shorthand had actually been kept only a few shelves away from the diary. In 2020, to mark the 75th anniversary of VE Day, or Victory in Europe Day, this £2 coin was minted. The Royal Mint intended to host an event over that weekend to mark the anniversary, but 2020 didn't quite pan out how we all expected, with lockdowns imposed during a time of the worldwide pandemic. The coin still got released though, for us all to enjoy the design to mark the end of the Second World War in Europe. 2020 was also the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower Voyage. This was an English ship that transported English families, referred to as the Pilgrims, to the New World. It took 10 weeks at sea before reaching America, arriving at Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Naturally, this was also marked in the US, and the UK coin was also released alongside its American counterpart in a really neat set of coins. 100 years after Agatha Christie's first book, this coin was produced. The author, best known for mysteries and fictional detectives such as Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. She also wrote the world's longest running play, The Mousetrap. The design of the coin plays on the murder mystery aspects of her writing career, with an incomplete puzzle, revolver and a sinister bottle of poison, with her signature to the bottom of it too. 2021 saw the recognition of another literary great, this time H.G. Wells. Now, it was quickly pointed out by fans of the novelist that the tripod in the design, a nod to his book The War of the Worlds, has 4 legs, rather than the 3 that a tripod probably should have had. In a double whammy, the depiction of the Invisible Man pictures him wearing a top hat, not the hat that the character wore. The Royal Mint did explain this by stating that it was the artist's interpretation of his work. Being a notable stickler for accuracy though, I'm not sure H.G. Wells would have been particularly happy with the inaccuracies on the coin to mark the 75th anniversary of his death, but mistakes apart, it is a really lovely design. The only other £2 coin released in 2021 was the 250th anniversary of the birth of Sir Walter Scott. He was a Scottish novelist, poet, playwright and historian, so a particularly busy individual. His work had a major impact on the American and European literature, and many of his works remain as classics to this day. We saw 3 £2 coins released this year, 2022, and the first was to celebrate the life of Dame Vera Lynn. The Force's sweetheart had passed away in 2020 at the impressive age of 103. She had a hugely successful career during the Second World War, being named the favourite musical performer of British servicemen, and went on to host a popular radio show listened to by many in the field of conflict. Her career remained successful in post-war Britain, and she'll always be remembered for her moving songs We'll Meet Again and The White Cliffs of Dover. Our penultimate coin celebrates the 150th anniversary of the first FA Cup. The coin features the sought-after trophy, one of the most prestigious in football. The first FA Cup had been won by Wanderers against Royal Engineers. They won 1-0. 150 years later, the competition remains the oldest national football competition in the world, with a Women's FA Cup running concurrently, beginning with the 1970-71 season. Before we get on to our last coin of today's video, there's 2 more that I wanted to mention. These 2 coins, the World War I Navy Centenary and Magna Carta, were released into circulation in 2015. However, the circulating coins feature Jodie Clark's 5th portrait, whereas the coins in collector's sets feature Ian Rank Broadley's 4th portrait of the Queen. This was the year that the portrait changed from one to another. So if you find either of these coins with Ian Rank Broadley's 4th portrait, then they too are NIFCs. Our final £2 coin was to mark the 100th anniversary of the death of Alexander Graham Bell. This was the first time that the Innovation in Science series was minted onto a £2 coin, having previously been a set which featured on the 50p coin, which we looked at in our previous video. And this set will continue to feature on this denomination in 2023 and potentially beyond. The coin marks one of his most famous inventions, the telephone. Although the design is a more modern representation of the devices we've all been hooked onto, devices that I'm sure many of you are watching today's video on. Unless you've still got a rotary telephone, I don't think you'll get us in 4K on that. With the death of the Queen, this could also be the last £2 coin released to feature her portrait, unless the Royal Mint have something else up their sleeves which we don't know about yet. Well, there we go, another whistle-stop tour of all the NIFC or not intended for circulation £2 coins. If you do manage to come across one of these in your change, then that's a really rare coin, because as I said, they're not supposed to be found. Let me know in the comments if you've ever come across one of these. I personally have been lucky enough to find a Jane Austen £2 coin, which is really exciting to find. Let me know as well which of these coins you would have liked to see in circulation too. There are links in the description of this video, so you can go over to our website to have a look at the coins that we featured today. Be sure as well to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free to do and it means you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. You can also catch us on Facebook and Instagram, where we post lots of pictures of our coins. We're on Twitter and TikTok. We've got our shop and online store, but I'll see you next time for more amazing coins from the Britannia Coin Company.